Hi everyone, it's Andy from Snow Camp Europe, and I'm with
Wouter from Snow Sports Kaproon.
with another podcast. Now, before we start this one, Wouter did get a little bit spicy on the last podcast when he was telling people not to do all of these stupid drills. And there's been a lot of comments and a lot of questions, and we are going to address them all in a future podcast. But because Playboy here is going off to America, we can't do it at the moment. So we will do it in a couple of weeks' time when he gets back from America. All right?
Yeah.
So today's podcast, Wouter, is why are group ski lessons failing the customer?
Should I have a rant again?
I'm sure you're going to at some stage, but obviously this is quite an important one because I always champion group lessons and say it's a great way to meet people, it's a great way to learn to ski, it's a great social environment, but the ski schools are failing their group clientele in a way. Now, put this out there. I'm sure there are some ski schools that do a really good groups program, but on the whole, what we see in kind of a local vicinity is the group programs are failing.
There is adult group lessons.
Adults, yeah.
Not
kids.
Kids as well. Kids as well, in a way.
But not as bad as the adults.
Let's talk about kids. Well, my point of view, yes, they do as well. They're too full. The lessons, anyways, it's a different subject. But adult lessons, why it's again you want me to answer it?
Well, give us one reason. One of the many reasons that the group lessons are failing adult customers. Typically,
it's old school. The whole organization from the ski schools, it's very old school.
Okay,
you have to meet at a meeting point.
Yep.
You want me to keep on going?
Okay, let's talk about the meeting point then. We'll put a bit of meat on the bones to the meeting point. Now, different resorts are going to be very different, but from our experience here and in other places we've worked, then we can kind of give it. But yeah, the meeting point element of a ski school group lesson is you have to come to the meeting point at a set time, no matter where you're staying in the village, to then start that lesson, which could result in you going back past your accommodation that you've already come from.
That's correct.
That's what you're kind of getting at, isn't it? Okay. Also, in one scenario at the moment is depending on which level of group you are in within a ski school, you could be meeting half of your group or family could have to go to a central meeting point in a village, but the other people who maybe have skied a little bit more have to go to a meeting point on the glacier, which totally fragments your group.
Correct.
Yeah, and that to me, it doesn't scream customer service. No. It doesn't scream let's facilitate the group and keep everyone in harmony. So meeting points, yeah, that's a bit of an issue. Granted, if you're going to a ski school where their office is on a plateau on the mountain and they've got their Kinderland and they've got their magic carpets and they've got their beginner lift and everyone meets there, then that's probably not so much of an issue.
Correct.
Because that's quite good. However, it doesn't happen very often.
Correct.
I think Sheffield, one of the ski schools, has got a place like that. Obviously, we know the Wurzer Alm is very much like that. If you were in Zellamzee and you went up City Express, it's on the mountain, but then it's not really got the facilities, and there isn't an adult beginner slope there. You've then got to schlep away with lifts and things. So that's one big thing is a meeting point. What else are they failing at?
The quality of the instructors.
Okay, the quality of instructors, and what do you mean by that?
I wanted to leave this a little bit for later, but yeah, there is just the quality of instructors. There's too many. Look, for example, this is here in Austria, not only here in Austria, in the US as well. There is too many. Like for example, here in Austria, the majority of the ski schools, there's 90% level 1 and 2 instructors of the whole team of a ski school.
Mm-hmm.
So
and that 90% are typically also first year instructors. So they also years. Don't have any experience whatsoever.
No, it's the majority nowadays are doing it for the gap year. The instructors, so they come here, they have no experience, they do an examination course, and then they start working. They get the ski school will train them internally throughout the whole season, but it's once a week, an hour just before lessons. There is no, extra training offered. A lot of ski schools. Some ski schools do it, but most don't. Over the weekend, it's just this 1 hour in the morning, and yeah, that's not enough time, of course. And because you have so many inexperienced instructors, you know, yeah, it reflects, of course, on the ski lessons. It takes skill. If you have a group lesson and there's 10 to 12 people in a group, they will come to that in a minute as well, in the main season, that the groups are overfilled. But it needs skills to,
Yeah.
to teach
So
10, because not everyone has the same ability. Not everyone has the same mindset. It's difficult.
yeah. So what we're saying is a good number of the ski teachers in the ski school are freshly qualified. Now, unfortunately, the industry doesn't help itself in that they qualify on the run up to the start of the winter season, and the first week they go to work is a peak season week.
Correct.
And then what most of the ski school owners do, from our experience, is they put the junior teachers on the group lessons because they think, well, if someone's coming in and paying 300 for a private, we can't give them a totally unexperienced teacher, but it's okay to give a group an unexperienced teacher. Where in fact, that group, each person's paying 300 for 5 days, and there could be 10 of them. So that's €3,000 that you're going to upset €3,000 worth of business versus one €300 lesson. Now, nobody should get a bad ski teacher, but unfortunately, there are bad ski teachers and there are inexperienced ski teachers. And let me just finish. And I think the system doesn't help itself that we don't teach them. I say we don't. They don't teach them to teach, to manage a group, to facilitate chit chat, banter. They only teach them to ski to a certain level to gain a qualification.
That's 100% correct. You know, yeah, it's 100% correct, and I 100% agree with you. And the problem is, it's a bad instructor. It's an inexperienced instructor, and the instructor doesn't know. Of course, probably the instructor does
What he thinks he has to
his
do.
or her best.
Yeah.
But he doesn't know what to do. They don't know what to do. They don't know how to deal with it. And it's unfair towards the guest, and it's unfair towards the instructors. But it's all about, and you see this the last couple of years, and this is also a problem. The better instructor, the experienced instructor, doesn't really want to work anymore for ski schools, because the pay is so low, and it's more money and more profit for the ski school, of course, if I employ 90 to 95% level 1 and level 2 instructors instead of level 4 instructors. There's much more profit
Yeah,
in for a ski
yeah,
school.
and again, so it's a vicious circle that leads back to the guest experience not being great. So if 90% of the ski school are new, that's great for the ski school owner because they get to pay them very little, but it's bad for the guest. The experienced ones don't want to stay in the ski school because they're getting paid so little, so they don't retain any staff. So we go back to having to fill the ski school with inexperienced teachers. So it's an ever filling bucket, and a circle that isn't going to break until a ski school owner says, right, I'm going to look after my people, I'm going to develop them, I'm going to reward them correctly, better working environment, etc., etc. So you start getting a core that come back year after year after year that grows, and that bottom level of junior teachers shrinks.
But that's difficult, and the thing is, it's difficult. And I agree with you, yeah, and I'm 100%. The problem is because it's seasonal work, and a lot of people give up at some point. So yeah, it is, and this is why the majority, and there's so many guests in the ski school, the majority of the instructors are nowadays, people do it before going to university, or
Or
after
after university,
university, or you made redundant, or I don't know, but you do it for a year or so. And and this is the issue. We need to pay the instructors more, so we get actually instructors want to do this for a living, for a profession, like you, or like me, or like, yeah, more
Yeah.
people.
Yeah. So the inexperienced teacher, the ski school boss wanting the cheaper labour. What else do we see that results in this bad experience within a group lesson?
Well, we spoke about it last week. I had a rant about it. Drills, only doing drills,
Drills. Yeah.
drills.
So I think
Not really feedback, and just doing drills for the sake of doing drills.
yeah. So again, and this is not really the fault of the ski teacher because this is the way they've just been trained and qualified.
Correct.
But what you're saying is they will treat everybody the same.
Correct.
They will treat everybody in the group as the same, and therefore everyone will do the same exercise, the same drill. We'll do it this way, we'll do it this way, and everybody does it. And because that teacher is inexperienced, he can't give individual feedback to each one of those 10 people in the group. He's not able to then say, okay, John and Mary, I want you to concentrate on your arm carriage, but Fred and Frida, I want you to work on your turn shape, and give them individual things to work on. And I suppose this is where, and not wanting to turn this into a let's big up camps, but this is where camps are winning because we have smaller group sizes and we have teachers who are able to facilitate that kind of training.
Yes, it's small groups. You know, you got groups between 6 and 8 people, and everyone gets an experienced, high level instructor who knows what they're doing. And you know, and you don't get stupid drills. You don't get like up and down movements, which everyone is a vertical up and down movement and all this old school stuff, which we'll also probably will be speaking about. I think there's a lot of you know.
I tell you what, the other thing that is very apparent to me versus 8 and 10 years ago, and then versus when I very first started, which was a long time ago, before Bart was born, I think, and you no longer see that group ski teacher at the end of his lesson with his group at après ski or going for a coffee. No. It's literally they finish the lesson and the teacher is gone. Now, the teacher's gone to après ski, but he's gone with all his ski teacher friends, and they all sit in a corner of a bar, and they all sit there and talking about their day and having a drink before they go home to have their dinner before they go back out.
Yeah, this is the problem. There's no banter. There's no après ski. Yeah. When I started, and you already said it, I started, my first season was 1998.
Yeah.
Oh my God. We went out with our guests. We had 16 people in a group sometimes, or 14 or 12 in the high season. Yeah. You went out for après ski, you went out, you were completely pissed at 6 o'clock in the afternoon.
But it wasn't you were just going out, you were taking
with
them
the
to
group.
après ski.
Yes,
you were facilitating an extension of the lesson.
Correct.
You know, in like
it was
this is the resort, this is the bartender,
Correct.
This is the bar, this is the nails game, or this is the this game.
And people loved it.
Yeah.
People loved it. And that's also what's completely missing nowadays is the après ski, is the whole group harmony, the whole banter, the whole going out for a drink, or it doesn't have to go end up like, you know, when you're 18, 19, completely pissed at 8 o'clock dancing on the tables. But going for a nice dinner or a nice glass of wine, have a chit chat, have a little bit, and that's what's really missing. Yeah. And people are on a holiday, and I agree with you. There are some of them that really come here and looking for that. They really want to, you know, especially solo travelers.
Yeah, definitely. Well, not solo travelers, but also if it's young, no, not even younger, but like mixed sex groups that aren't necessarily couples and things. They want to have a bit of a crack after they've been skiing.
Right.
And I think the other thing that's really odd is, this is definitely something that happens in Gaprun, and I'm sure it happens in other resorts, and I know it happens in other resorts, is ski teachers do get a slightly discounted drink. And the reason they get that slightly discounted drink is to encourage them to bring their guests in.
Right.
However, as I say, what you see is the ski teachers in the corner of the room drinking their discounted drink while the bar owner's going, my bar's empty. Because the ski teachers aren't doing what that discounted incentive is for, which is to bring their people in. And again, we are still talking about group ski lessons, and this, for me, is a big part of the group ski lesson, is saying, okay, group, I'm going to quickly run home and walk my dog, and in 45 minutes I'm going to meet you back in the bar, and we'll have an end of day drink, we'll talk about the day, we'll look at the videos, and we'll have a bit of a crack.
Correct.
Yeah.
It's nice. You know, not the whole group has to come, but some people, and it's nice. It's nice for the group dynamics the entire week. But yeah, that is definitely missing, the group lessons. You know, and I think as well, it is the groups are too big.
Mm-hmm.
The groups are too big, and people are getting teed up with it.
Yeah.
And you know, the group lessons, the expectations often of the participants in the group are yeah, they are not, how do you say that in English, they are not um, you can't they don't get rewarded.
They're not getting what they want out of it.
Correct.
Yeah,
Correct.
yeah,
Correct.
yeah. So definitely the size, because we will see adult groups of up to 12 people over New Year, February, and Easter. Then the flip side to that is on the quiet weeks, when there's less than 4 people in the group, quite often or not, they reduce it from the 4 hours to 2 hours.
To 2 hours, half days.
Yeah. Now I understand that
insane.
if there's less people in the group,
Insane.
they're going to get a little bit more tired. The ski school owner sees it as it's more of a private lesson than a group lesson, but it isn't, because they bought a group lesson.
Sorry, can I have a rant now? It's
Yeah.
insane because it's 4 people in a group, 3 people in a group, and they put on top of it, they put an experienced instructor on it who they pay nothing. These instructors,
Inexperienced.
correct, they get paid nothing. They barely get paid, and then they still do half days because
save money.
To save money, and
Yeah.
it is raging. It's really like
Yeah.
it's infuriating.
And the thing is,
Infuriating,
and what people who aren't within the industry probably don't realize is, when they do this, 4 or less people, we're going to chop it to half a day to 2 hours only in the morning. Is, yes, on that week they may be losing a little bit of money, but on that week that they've got 5 level 1 groups with 12 in each, they're over indexing. So over the whole of the season, it balances out that they're still going to make more money overall.
It doesn't exactly, and also these 4. If you have 4 or 5 people in a group, or let's say even 3 or even 2, I have now this week I'm skiing with 1 in a camp, for example. They have a fantastic time. So what they'll do is they'll tell them, and they'll come back again,
back.
and they have a much better time. And this is why they don't come back. You see the ski schools, they barely have any returning adult customers coming
back for groups.
And as if I may add something to it as well, it's you see it the same the last couple of years within the kids groups. In the quiet periods, there's barely any kids, of course, because of the holidays. But when it's busy, these kids groups are full to the max.
14 kids in a group.
14 kids, 12 kids in a group. It's too many. And
Yep.
you see more and more and more parents are getting pissed off of it. And you see more and more are booking privates. And so if they also there, if they make the groups a little bit smaller, you get returning customers. It's always this short
14
term.
is too many. 14 is way too many. 12 is too many. 10's acceptable, but do 4 groups of 8 instead of 4, whatever the maths would work out at. 4 groups of 8 to keep them happy and keep them coming back, because in the long term you'll get more business from the repeat business. But the funny thing was, I was speaking to a ski school only the other day, and they said, group lessons aren't working. Somebody came into the office the other day after 3 days and said, can I book a private? It's like, well, you're in groups. Yeah, but I'm not learning anything.
Right.
Well, there you go. They're not what they're actually doing is they're coming in and complaining, but then trying to spend more money. Yeah.
Right.
Which in a way the ski school owner's going to go, okay. But what it should be is like, why is that? Why are you not learning? Why do you think you need a private lesson? And it's because we've probably got the wrong teacher teaching the wrong group, or the group size was too big, the teacher couldn't give people individual attention, and all of these things we've said. So, these are some of the reasons why group lessons are failing.
Also,
right?
ski schools, and because it worked 40 years ago, they think, okay, it still works like this. Let's not change anything, because it doesn't. There's barely any feedback asked from a ski school owner to their customers. And this is the worst thing you can do. Run a business without any feedback. And it's again, ski schools need to stop employing these level 1 and 2 instructors.
Or they need to develop them. They need to develop
You
them.
can't develop them. They need to stop, and it starts with the association already. They need to stop this. They need to really pay the instructors properly, employ higher qualified instructors more. And, look now, Andy, is there any local teaching? Are there any locals teaching?
Very, very few locals.
Exactly.
Very, very few locals.
It says enough.
In a ski school that I'm with at the minute, we've got one as a teacher. Cookie. Is that only one?
Tom.
Yeah, but he's the boss. You would expect him to be local.
He's not local. Well,
But,
he's
yeah.
Austrian.
But one local ski teacher, and probably
Okay, I'm.
only one Austrian.
Yeah, yeah. It's the
Yeah.
same. It's the same. It's the same in the majority of the ski schools.
Yeah. Which again goes back to what you said at the minute. The industry is broken. The industry, and it's not just in Austria, because I was speaking to some people yesterday
It's
in
everywhere.
Switzerland and France, and it's also broken there. But that's all we got time for on this one. This is why we think group lessons are failing. Yeah, inexperienced teachers, no training from the ski schools, no training from the associations, not able to tailor it to the individual within the group, and then they're just not having a crack with them.
Correct.
Because the thing is, you can be an inexperienced teacher who has got the crack and get that group to the end of the week.
Correct.
But if you've not got the crack, you will lose people every day out of that group till there is nobody left.
Yes.
Andy for Snow Camps Europe saying bye for now.
And from Snow Sports Crew, see you later.
Alligator.
Alligator.